Hello, my name is Sean. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Sean's Grow Your Own Food and Flowers. Now, I've been growing vegetables since I was a teenager. The first thing was probably runner beans, but I do remember my first gardening lesson was how to prune a rose. Now, I thought in this video I'd give you a bit of an introduction to me and my growing spaces. I have two spaces 3 miles apart from each other. One is classed as a traditional allotment where you grow vegetables, and the other one is classed as a leisure garden where committees are usually a bit more relaxed. You could have, if you wanted to, just a lawn with a few little flower beds around the site. So today I am on my leisure garden, but moving forward I think I'm just going to refer to them as the allotment. On one of them my aim is just to grow fruit, and on the other the aim is just to grow vegetables. But until I have my other section finished, I'll grow everything on this plot. Now, this plot is 27 feet by 42 feet, and I took this on, I think, probably the beginning of last year. When I arrived, it was just grass, and in the first year me and a friend just spent time turning the soil over and cultivating it and trying to put some sort of order with paths and sheds. So this is the shed on the allotment here, and I still need to, my list of things to do is quite long. So I've got a whiteboard up on the shed wall here, and I'm going to start to make a list of the things that I need to do in order to get the allotment in shape, because allotments are never finished. But if we have a list, we can work our way through it each month and tick things off and show a bit of progress, because sometimes it can be a bit easy to get bogged down in so many tasks to do. One task I'm going to do today is to take you around the allotment here and show you some of the harvests and some of the things that are in flower, because there's one or two things which I didn't really expect to be going on. On this cordon apple tree, this is the variety Isaac Newton, and it is said this is from the original Isaac Newton tree. Now, whether we believe that or not, I'm not too sure. When you do apples or pears or things like this, in the first year I would always suggest you take the fruit off so that the goodness goes into producing a root system, but it's tempting to leave it on, so I think that's what I'll do. There's only two there, so I think it'll be okay. Now, this little tomato plant has given great service this summer. It was given to me by a friend who had a spare one, and they're very small fruit. Get that fruit there, very small fruit, but perfect for what I want, because I'm not really a great fan of tomatoes, but these are really nice just to throw into a dish. And as you can see, there are still plenty of ones to turn red, but it's quickly coming to the end now. So I might do these again next year and grow them myself. Next door to the tomato is one of my pears. This is a step over pear. And again, I should really pick this and let all the goodness go in, but it's just one. It's one on the entire tree, so I'm going to leave it. And I look forward to trying that probably in a few weeks. It's still a bit hard at the moment, so I'll keep an eye on that. Another crop that has given very good service this summer, and again, I can't tell you what the variety is because a friend gave it to me, fellow plot holder, is climbing French beans. And they're a beautiful size to them. I'll show you the flowers, maybe you'll be able to recognize what the variety is. And again, these are coming to the end, but they're still, as soon as I strip the plant and I think that that's it, no more going to come, we're getting lots more beans. So I would like to know what the variety is, because I wouldn't mind doing this one again next year. Now I could leave a few of them to go to seed, and I could save my own seed. But the problem with that is, if it's an F1, then if I grow that, it won't come true to form, and it will revert back to the parent. So I'm not going to do that. I will try and bump into the guy again and see if he can remember. But for the past few weeks, I've been getting about a dishful of produce from this plot every time I come down. Gorgeous. The only problem is, these are not getting home because I'm eating them on the plot. Now, next to the climbing beans, this, hard to believe, but there was 1, 2, 3 rows of potatoes put in, and nothing has come up. So I need to go back and have a look on my video, because I can't remember. Maybe I put them in too early, but there's absolutely nothing has come. So what I'm going to do this year is start with the whole soil, is to put manure where it's needed and put some bags of compost into the soil just to give it a bit of life. I think we might have a success with sweetcorn. It's very short. If I stand by the side of it, you can see it's only just up to my chest. So it's not very tall, and I'm hearing reports from friends that they've got the same issue as well, of very small corn. But when I get inside and I actually have a look at the cobs, they don't look that bad. Now, I've got my eye on this corn, which is just on the edge here. But how would you tell if your sweet corn is ready? One of the indications is to look at the brown tassels. If the tassels there are brown, because they would usually be cream, like that colour, but if they're brown, that means that is an indication, one of the indications, that it could be ready to harvest. If you were unsure, what you can do is peel back the layers of the corn and just have a look at the cob itself and see that is still white, it hasn't turned yellow. But if it had turned yellow, what you could do is put your nail in and pierce one, and if the milky sap comes out, then you know that it's ready. That is not ready, so I will give that a few more weeks for the brown to go down a bit more of the tassels. That's just a way of checking without picking and destroying it, and then just bunch it all up again like that and leave it. Come back in a few weeks and check again. It's hard to believe that we're coming up to the 1st year anniversary of the death of the Queen, and maybe it's fitting that the rose in her name has come into bloom. Let's do a bit of weed in here. There's a bit of bindweed. This is Coreopsis, one of the first flowers that I ever grew from seed. Putting on a wonderful display here. Nice to see the colour bobbing about in the sun. Yeah, it's got a bit of bindweed. Just pull that up. All you can do with bindweed, just keep pulling. Next door to the Coreopsis, this ground cover plant that I put in is really taking hold now. I know it does snow in the mountain. Some people call it snow in summer. It will produce little white flowers, and it's a good spreader. But if it spreads a bit too much, it's very easy. You just grab a clump, rip it out, and put it into another part of the garden, and then in a few months it'll start spreading there. It is better to have a ground cover, because that does help keep the weeds down. Although this one seems to be home to a bit of bindweed. So ultimately the plan is for this garden just to be fruit. But I will grow some vegetables in the meantime until the other part of the allotment is finished. I'll take you to that in a moment. Now on this side I've got sweet peas, which I sowed in memory of Steve from Green Side Up, who died earlier this year. And I think, give it a week, if we have this sunshine, we will get flowers. But after the flowers are gone, I'm going to put some blackberries down there and do a nice sort of hedge of blackberries. But I think the garden, okay, look past the weeds. Every plot's got weeds. Biggest problem on this site is bindweed and mare's tail. So if you look past that, which I can do very easily in my mind's eye, I think everything's looking rather nice. We've got some produce out of the plot this summer, and we've got some fruit coming this autumn. One of the tasks I want to get on with is to sort out this top end here. I was going to build a greenhouse, but the disadvantage is I'm not close to this plot. This plot is 3 miles from my house. So I think a greenhouse would be beneficial close to my house on the allotment, which I'll take you to at the end of this video, see what's going on down there. So I need to clean up this side here so I can have a little seating area and maybe put a cold frame. I'm a bit undecided what's going on with that area just yet. But as the layout of this section up to the fruit here, I'm quite happy. I have a pond which I need to decide where that's going. I think, seeing as I sit underneath this tree somewhere up here. I've got some new fruit plants I want to show you as well. It is a cranberry. So if you've ever grown a cranberry before, I'll be after your advice. But the cranberry, and here I've got a blueberry. They both need, this is a very nice plant indeed, they both need ericaceous compost, because they need the compost to be a bit more on the acid side compared to normal compost you can buy, the multi-purpose. So my neighbour, they're going to the garden centre in a few days, and they've offered to pick me up a few bags of ericaceous compost. So once I get them, I'm going to pot them up in their own pots so that I can control the growing environment. Now, I love grass. You might have picked that up from just looking at my plot. But I'm talking ornamental grasses. And I saw this one during a ramble about a year ago. And I'll put a link to that video in the description below. And I saw this grass and I thought, I like that. And I bought 3 of them. And they haven't looked like anything over the last few weeks. They've just looked like scraggly bits of grass. This is moss grass. But suddenly they have come into what they would say flower. And I've got 3 pots. And the plan is I want to take some of the seed, grow some more, because the plan is I want to put this all down the side of the shed there. So I can sit outside the shed. This will grow to about 6 foot tall if I was to leave it. And a 6 foot hedge of grass blowing in the summer sunset will look really nice, I think, and the sound of the gentle breeze going through the grass. So I'm pleased with them. Sort of here, nice hedge of grass there. I like the fact that the shed is on a slight raise from the rest of the plot, because when I'm in the shed I can sit there. I can't see out, so I can't see who's passing, and nobody can see me, so it's nice and quiet. Right, I am going to see what's on the list, see what else I can be getting on with today. It's actually 25.6 degrees Celsius, which is 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So, the harvest for the day has been done. I'm not going to do all these today. These are just things I want to do in the next few days or even the coming weeks. Sweet peas. Right, I want to weed them, so I'll anticipate it with a tick. On the weekend we had our summer show. I didn't have anything to go in that was worthy of a prize, so I didn't win anything. But something I did find out on the weekend, as I said, this site is very active. They do a lot of events and they're very well put together as well. We've got a pie and mash day, I think it is. Pie and mash lunch coming up, which I'm very much looking forward to. Can't go wrong with a bit of pie and mash. Bit of gravy and some peas. Beautiful. Sometimes there's nothing better than just getting down on the grass amongst the garden. So I'm going to weed this bed. This is the sweet pea bed. Got to be careful. I don't want to pull out the sweet peas. But I think we will get some flowers. Also, you might have noticed, I think they've changed the flight path, unfortunately, and we've got more planes flying over the allotment site in the last day than we ever have before. So hopefully it's just a temporary thing. So yes, it is very nice to think that we will get these flowers. As I said, these were planted in memory of Steve, and I wasn't expecting anything to come of them, to be honest, because it's very late in the season to be planting sweet peas. I still have a lot of seed left, so I will do them again next year and we'll do a proper display. So even if we get flowers at 4 foot, I'll be happy. There are loads and loads of buds, so if this summery weather keeps up, then I think we'll get something. Right, I'm not going to film myself weeding the whole plot because that would be boring, so I'll catch up with you in a moment. So there we go. That is the sweet peas weeded. I find when you do the weeding, if you have a podcast on, then the task goes very quickly. Right, I wanted to show you my raspberries. Now this variety of raspberry has taken me 10 years to find. There was very low stock of it in the country. It's called Yellow Antwerp, and it's one that was featured on the Victorian kitchen garden. Now unfortunately, something has eaten these 2 raspberries here, but they're a nice yellow colour and they taste wonderfully. What I'm shocked by, because I've already had a harvest from these this year, so I'm a bit surprised how there is another harvest coming. So that could be the plant, or it could be that the weather is a bit all over the place this year. Maybe we're having a sort of second spring, I'm not too sure. But it's a nice variety. As far as I'm aware, there's only one place in the country where you can buy this. But I'm impressed by the fact that I've got so many shoots. So I will set up a frame in time and train them. But yes, it's great to have something in the garden from the Victorian kitchen garden, something that I've watched for many years. A few tasks I need to do in the shed is to finish painting and then build a kitchen so I can get my stove on. And I'm going to go to Wilko's because unfortunately it does look like it's going bust at the time of this video being made. So I'm waiting to see if they're going to sell their paint off, and I'll buy some paint from there so I can do the inside of the shed and the outside. But I think that's all from this allotment. Now I'm going to head home, but on the way home I will take you and have a look at the second allotment. Just before I go to the allotment, I popped home for some dinner, and these were runner beans that came first prize in the allotment show this weekend. And the grower saw me stood there admiring the beans, and he gave them to me. So I'm going to have these for my dinner and see what they taste like. Now what I did is I strung the 2 sides. So I took the 2 sides of the bean off, just to be on the safe side, because in the last few years, even stringless beans, I've managed to find the string. My mouth has this ability to find the string where even there shouldn't be one. So this is a variety called Benchmaster. Tastes like the ones I used to have in childhood. What variety of runner bean do you grow? I'm certainly going to enjoy these, and these might be the ones that I grow next year. It's turning out to be a beautiful afternoon. I've got the bits for the compost bin. Very quiet site down here today. Oh, there's Gary's cutting his grass. So yes, I will dump this and show you this allotment. Now, I had this allotment for 15 years, and then I gave it up. And when the council phoned me to say your name's come up for a plot, the twist in the story was I had half of my old plot back, but the person who had it in the time that I was away doesn't appear to have done anything at all. So there's a lot of progress to be done on this plot. It's like taking on a new plot, which it is, to be honest. Also, we'll see if Rusty's here as well. That's Rusty, the allotment cat. There he goes. To anybody new tuning in, this is Rusty, the allotment cat. He lives by the allotment, so he does have a house, but he spends an awful lot of time on the allotments, and I suppose he wants something to eat now. Do you want something to eat? Beautiful. We'll have to go and tell Gary that we've seen you, because he'll be worried. He's getting old now. He's about 16 years old. Come on then, go over there. Right, let me get some food for you. He has a cat flap at the side of the shed so he can sleep in there or come out, whatever the case is. It's his own little home. The top end here, I only have up until about this section. Enough space for an 8x6 shed or greenhouse. So I'm thinking about building my own greenhouse come shed. So this is where we are at the moment. My allotment is only down as far as those compost bins. Those compost bins are mine. I put them in a few weeks ago. Down the side there are a few fruit hedges. Can't decide whether I'm keeping the fruit here or, like I've said before, purely put in all the fruit on the first allotment you saw this morning. But here are some flowers just for the bees, and here are some crops: purple sprouting broccoli and some winter Savoy cabbage. Can't believe I actually did the weeding 2 days ago, but the grass has already popped up. Stopped turning the soil over here because discovered that for some reason there's a lot of clay. When I left this plot, it had about 4 tons of brand new compost on top, so I'm not quite sure how the clay has got there. So I'm a bit undecided at the moment, but here I may do the no-dig method. I'm just working out the cost of doing it. A lot of the people I knew on this site that were here during the time that I was here have either died or moved away. There's less than a handful of people that I knew from the past who are still here. One of them is Gary, and like me, he feeds Rusty on a regular basis, and he's been sending me text messages if he hasn't seen him for a few days. I'm just being distracted by these sweet peas. There's a beautiful scent just came off these and just hit me then. This is the original sweet pea, where a lot of the ones that we grow came from. This is a permanent sweet pea. It'll come back year after year. You don't have to do anything. Look, the bees are loving it as well. Maybe something for me to consider to grow in the future. These are the seed pods, a lot bigger than a sweet pea. I'll have to have a word with the allotment here, see if I can grab some when they've really filled out. So, like I was saying, the last time I was here, there are very few people left, but one of them is Gary, and he produces a beautiful bunch of grapes here. But I think he's given me an indication he wants to be left alone, because look, he sat here, but the seat for the visitor is covered in brambles. I think there's a hint. Leave me alone.
You can certainly if you want, Sean.
I just come over to say, Rusty's just had some food.
Oh, good. Okay.
Has he been over to you?
I saw him yesterday in the central path. He wanted food, but Vivi had already given him 2 or 3 packs.
Right.
I was on the way off the plot, so I had no time. So
because I saw her, I think it was, I can't think now, Thursday or Friday last week, and I said to her, just let you know, but I've just given him 3 packs.
3 packs. Well,
so
he had 3 yesterday.
So
I've only got 3 left.
You were concerned a few weeks ago that he was possibly about to die. I think he might possibly explode. He
won't die of hunger, that's for certain.
We'll find bits of him all over the place.
Yeah, poor old Rusty. He's very, very frail now.
It's about 16 years, isn't it?
Yeah, he's very frail now. From top dog, or top cat, on the whole site, bossing everybody, he's gone to Mr. No Testosterone. So he's
well, the thing is,
losing out.
When I first came here, you were seen as one of the young ones, and Pat and Ned were the old school.
Yes.
But now,
how things change, eh?
You were the old school.
Yes, I had colour in my hair then. How long ago was that?
Oh, 12 years, 15 years.
Maybe,
yeah.
And I've been here 35 years.
See, the white hair, this is what happens if you go onto the committee.
If you're a gardener, yes, I only did 6 years, but it's enough to see me off.
So how's your gardening year been this year?
Off and on. It's, as everyone will tell you, some things grow really well, some things don't. It's 50-50. Some have been really staggeringly good, some crops. Others have been almost non-existent. And it's because of the weather. The weather's changed massively in the 35 years I've been here. You can't rely on anything anymore. You used to be able to more or less rely on a wet week or a cold week or even a cold month. But then now it's just all over the place. I mean, November could be warmer than June. It's,
Shall we go into that discussion? What do you think?
No, let's not go there. Yeah, let's not go there.
Well, it's turning into be a beautiful evening, but cycling to the allotment and back has worn me out. So I'm going to head home now, have a nice cup of tea and do a rare thing, which is put my feet up. But the seed catalogues I noticed when I came home, the seed catalogues have started to come into the house. So I may start planning what I'm going to sow on my allotments next year. That's planning for you. Right, I'll catch up with you next time. So from me until then, bye for now.